Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakarkadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered to the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a recent news article from RT.com as of January 31st, 2023. And it reads, and this is in the business news category, and it reads, warning issued for petrodollar. And you hear, with the recent news of Saudi Arabia was finding other alternatives to potentially escape away from the U.S. dollar and the petrodollar as well too. And you have, I believe, Russia and Iran coming with an alternative payment system so they could escape away and withdraw from the depending on the currencies of the Western countries and the euro dollar as well too. So I wanted to I just wanted to note that. Continuing on with the reading, it says refusal to use greenback for oil payments around the world could undermine the U.S. economy, a former White House official has said. The U.S. is facing serious economic risks as more countries around the globe move away from the dollar in energy trades, according to former White House official Paul Greg Roberts. Roberts, who served as a U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of Treasury, I meant to say, for economic policy during the Reagan administration, cautioned in an article pushed on Monday that the end of the petrodollar could have adverse effects on the value of the dollar, as well as on U.S. inflation and interest rate. Right, because you've been having somewhat ease of the inflation and interest rates been definitely increasing as well too. So I believe the Federal Reserve from the Wall Street, they're gonna have a meeting on Wednesday or sometime this week, if that's actually correct, to see if they're gonna increase the interest rates as well too. While the somewhat, according to reports of slow easing down of the inflation, I just want to add a note to that as well too. He pointed to Saudi Arabia's recent announcement that it was open to accepting payments for oil in currency other than the dollar, right? Because that's digital currency. It says, other alternatives to pay transactions of oil payments, except the the dollar, because the countries are turning away from the American dollar and the euro dollar as well too. It says, according to reports, if that happens, the demand for dollar and the currency value will fail. Right, because that's the decreasing value of the dollar will soon to come, because we're seeing increasing signs of that. Even though it got somewhat value right now, but it's going to come a time and point when the American dollar and the euro dollars no longer be valued, and it's going to turn into digital currency. And the paper dollar is going to be a thing of the past, because we're seeing increasing signs of that. I just want to add a note to that. It says, by building for oil in dollars, the Saudis guarantee worldwide demand for the greenback. He explained, this is a major threat to Washington power and to the financial power of American banks, the economics added. It says, Robert noted that half a century the petrodollar has supported the value of the U.S. dollar and ensured financing for American large budget and trade deficits, the petrodollar support the continuing role of the dollar as world currency after President Nixon closed the gold window in 1971, which has been a long time ago, and the effect ending the Bretton Woods system following World War II that gave the US dollar the reserve currency world. However, according to Roberts, in recent Washington, in recent years, Washington has so abused the dollar reserve currency role in sanctions and asset siege that many countries have desired to settle trade imbalance in their own currency in order to escape Washington's ability to threaten and punish them for serving their own interests rather than Washington. The article stated that if the Saudis do drop the petrodollar, Americans will face stiff inflation, high interest rates, which is already is currently right now, necessary to finance U.S. budget deficits unless the Federal Reserve itself finance the deficits by printing money. In that case, monetary inflation will be added to inflation caused by the drop of the dollar's foreign exchange value resulting from declined foreign demands for the greenback. Should this come to pass, the implication for the U.S. is a massive atrocity, Robert warned. Yep, and that's actually is going to happen. That's the value of the paper dollar, the greenback, paper dollar, petrodollar. And we seeing signs of that, once again, of these nations are turning away and withdrawing from the American dollar and the petrodollar and the greenback money and the euro dollar as well too. Like I mentioned again, countries like China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and many other countries following Saudi Arabia, potentially, and other countries following the lead of their own currency. They're not depending on the Western petrodollar, the American dollar and the euro dollar as well too. So they withdrawing from there. So they coming with their own form of payment of currency, of transactions, of oil payments, with their own currency or currency that they'll team up with their allies, come up with an other alternative way to make payments in it, and they consistently turning away from the petrodollar and American dollar. No, well, I just had I've been had the sweat on and stuff. I was just standing up. Get back to your stuff. Big ass self. Sorry. Yeah. I'll lock it out. Just talk to my brother. So yeah, like I mentioned before, it shows you once again a sign that we are getting close to that digital currency, even though it's already here. But once it's fully implemented, once that digital currency is fully implemented, it's going to be here officially. And we see increasing signs of the American dollar and the euro dollar is no longer going to be in value very soon, because we're seeing increasing signs of that as these news news stories are starting to come out and break out about these countries are continuing to withdraw and potentially in the near future withdraw from the American dollar, and the euro dollar as well too. These countries are not depending on these Western currencies no more, So we're definitely seeing increasing signs of that. So hopefully this was edifying. This news article was recently, as of January 31st, 2023, from Business News, alternative world news around the world from RT.com. As the article stated, warning issue for petrodollar. Right, so that shows you a sign that these nations are withdrawing and turning away from the petrodollar and the American dollar and the euro dollar as well too. And that's getting a sign step closer to the full implementing of the digital currency. And the paper dollar is soon getting closer to being no more value, and the paper dollar is going to be a thing of the past because we're seeing increasing signs of that. Because everything is going to be fully implemented very soon to digital currency, and that's where these are current times, that current modern day times that we are living in. As the Book of Revelations, 1:3-16 of that charagma, that MOTB, that digital currency, and that's what we're approaching. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring it up for edification's sake of this lesson. This is Revelations chapter 13, verse 16, and it reads through the Holy Scriptures. He calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free or bond, to receive a mark in their right HAND, or in their FOREHEADS. Right, and that's gonna come a time when one is full digital currency be fully implemented, which is already here. But once the paper dollar be a thing of the past, and once we entering that time when it's be fully implemented, that digital currency, in order to buy or sell, because we're getting closer to that, in order to like buy or sell and make transactions or oil payments, anything that's money or business related on an everyday basis, which is we do on our everyday lives. The businesses and the companies and these stores and stuff like that, etc. You're gonna have that stuff inside your body in order to like buy or sell or do transactions, and we're getting to that point. But that was just added a note to that of what to expect in the near future as we approaching that time of the MOTB of the digital currency is being fully implemented, and that paper dollar is going to be a thing of the past. We see increasing signs of it, as these other countries alternatively seeking payments in a digital currency way rather than their own paper dollar, and rather relying on the American dollar or the Western dollar or the euro dollar as well too. So that's implication of that is increasing more and more. So with that, once again, I hope this lesson was edifying of this recent news warning issuing for a petrodollar. And so with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakarkadash. Double honors to the elders for preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom.